In this video, I'm going to talk about argument count and argument vector or argument value. So whenever you look at simple C++ programming, you will see this like parameters int argc and char star argv. So we'll take a look at what it really is, what they really are, and then what they do. So I'm going to use Visual C++, Win32, Win32 console application, and I'm going to use some simple names. So like I'll say my app, okay, and make sure these are unselected and okay. Go to next and make sure you choose empty project and finish. And now I'm going to choose source file and right click add new item. And I'm going to add C++ file, .cpp file. And again, I'm going to use a main function, okay, as my like entry point of my program. So I'm going to name my CPP file as main.cpp. So here again, whenever I work with it, I start with one of the simple function. So int, function type int, and function name main, parenthesis. Inside parenthesis, you can put parameters, and I put integer argc, which stands for argument count, and comma. I'm going to use char, the character. Star is a pointer. I'm going to talk, well, we'll talk about that pointer later. And argument v, and some people say this is argument value, and some people say this is argument vector. Basically, I'm going to explain that later, but basically what's going to happen is we will get some input, okay, and then allocate them as a character using array, and then we actually call it argument value. Sometimes we call it argument value because it will carry certain value within array, and sometimes we call it argument vector because it will basically push our character into the array. So like vector is a thing with the vector would be like conventional name people use. Okay. Anyways, let's try to see what they do. Okay, so this is the function type is integer, so we have to return something. So I'm going to return 0. Okay, so here basically what I'm going to do, I'll try to do this printf, okay, and %d. Well, before that I'll try to do argc, okay, colon %d, and here I'm going to put like argc. Okay, so basically this one is, we know this one is integer, so we're going to print this argc using printf. Okay, so basically I want to see what argc is. I mean, we're using argc, so let's try to print that out and see what it is. And now printf is not identifier undefined, so I'm going to add, okay, include. So here again, I mentioned this before, you can use standard io.h, or you can use C, like a C standard IO. Okay, standard CST standard IO. Okay, so same thing basically. So let's see what's happening, what's going to happen. Okay, so yes, and oh, okay, something happens, but here it just did with code 0. There's no error. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will actually open command window. Okay, open containing folder, left shift to right click, open command window here. Okay, dir cd debug and dir. I have this myapp.exe. So myapp.exe arg1. Okay. So somehow it carries something, right? So we just put myapp.exe, and by looking at it, oh, this is what happened, and then this argc is 1. Okay, well, that's interesting. So now let's try to see what argv is. Well, I'm going to come back to argc and why it printed out 1 in a moment. Okay, but let's try to look at the argv. So what I'm going to do, okay, now here I'm going to put \n, like go to next line, and here I'm going to use for loop. Okay, so for, I'm going to say integer I equals 0, okay, and if I is less than argc, okay, and colon I plus plus, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say printf, okay, quotation mark argv, okay, %d, okay, and I'm going to use colon and space %s. I'm going to explain that in a moment, and comma I comma argv box bracket open and put I. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and try to explain a little more about this, because we didn't talk about array yet. But let's now let's see what's going to happen when we build it and execute myapp.exe. So now, okay, let's see this. Myapp.exe is at 1 argument vector 0, argument value 0, myapp.exe. Okay, well, it's interesting. So basically, what's really happening here is, okay, if you think about the computational thinking, okay, computational thinking basically is you have some input, there's algorithm, and it will give you output back. Okay, so here, if you look at this program, especially this function, okay, this function is an algorithm. Okay, it will take some input, okay, parameters. These are inputs, and then by using this statement, it will process something, it will do something, and return this value. Okay, so now in command line, in command window, how we can put input, yeah, we can give input to this program is something like this. We can say myapp.exe space. You can actually put whatever you want now, like I say 1 space George Mason space, like quotation mark, is an awesome school, something like this. So basically what's happening now is we are running this myapp.exe. We're execute this myapp.exe file with input. Okay, so this myapp.exe 1 George Mason and all this string actually are parameters. Okay, so it will be parameters like this. Okay, so now let's return this, and argc becomes 5, arg argument value 0, myapp.exe, argument value 1, 1, argument value 2, George, argument value 3, Mason. So this is kind of result you will get. So now I realize I want to kind of put \n to go to the next line and build it again. So now like my result or my printout will look a little bit better. So now I'm going to do the same thing by pushing function 3 f3. F3 basically takes the previous command and copy and paste. Now argument count becomes 5. Argument value 1, myapp.exe, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it actually gets different values. So now I'm going to talk about array later, but here let's try to let's try to look at this array briefly. Okay. So now, okay, again, integer argument count. So how it works is, whenever you put this input, okay, it will count how many inputs you have. So now, if you remember, like if you just put okay, myapp.exe, okay, argument count is 1, which means it actually counts the file name. So it counts itself. So now argument count is there's one input, and then this first input will be located argument value 0. So this is array. Array is a different way to store some data. Okay, so let's say what it really does. There's argument value. So argument value, this box bracket, let's say 0 will be something. Argument value 1 and something. So basically what it means, whenever we see this box bracket, it means array. Okay, array basically is a way to store same types of data. Okay, and they use this address to store certain data. So argument value 0 will be the first data located in this array, and argument value 1 would be second, okay, a value located in this array. And note that the very first value actually will be located at the address 0. Okay, the reason why basically is with human, whenever human counts, we kind of tend to use our finger, and we start with 1. Okay, first finger, second finger, third finger. But machine doesn't have fingers, so machine usually start from 0. Okay, so here, going back to our result, okay, argument count, this one is 1. Okay, and then this first one will be located, very first address, which is 0. So argument 0, and this whole thing will be located or stored in this first array. So if you put myapp.exe space something like 45, then now argument count will be 2, because now I have 1 space and another chunk of information, so there's 2 things. So argument count is 2. Argument value 0, myapp.exe, argument 1 will be 45. Okay. So basically, we're going to talk about this later. There's token. Token basically means if you have one chunk of letters, okay, that's a token. And token is separated by space or next line or tab. Okay. So here, so myapp.exe space. Okay, first token is myapp.exe Second token would be George. Okay, and third token is Mason. And fourth token this time I'm going to use quotation mark. It's an awesome school. Okay, so now token is separated by this space. So this one, myapp.exe, first token. George is second token. Mason is third token. And this whole thing, whole thing inside of quotation mark will be fourth token. So whenever I put enter here, argument count will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then argument value 0 will be myapp.exe. Argument value 1, George. Argument value 2, Mason. Argument value 3 will be it's an awesome school. Just like this. Okay. And now, we talked about this %d. %d will be replaced with some sort of variable that comes after that %d. Okay, %d is here, so this one will be replaced with I. Okay, and then %s. Basically, %s works exactly same as %d, but it will work with a text string. So if you look at the argument value, some number, these are tokens stored in different array. So these are actually text. So if you actually use %d, it's not going to work. Okay. So basically, if you run it, so here, printf format string %d require an argument of type integer. But here, second one, here is this one. It's not an integer, so that's why I got this error. So I have to use %s instead. Okay. So here, argument count, argument value, or argument vector. Okay. Again, this is a little difference. I mean, some people call it argument value, some people call it argument vector. Again, the reason why is argument value makes sense because argument value is 0, so it actually indicates that value of address. Argument vector kind of works too because argument vector 0 means it will push this myapp.exe into that array. The array at the address of 0. So, I mean, argument value, argument vector, I mean, both kind of sound okay. But you can basically, but I mean, I guess it's more important for you to understand what's happening here. Okay, so don't worry too much about which name is right. I mean, if you, some book says argument vector, and some book says argument value. But bottom line is, this is one way for this parameter. Takes this string, text string, and then put them in this array. Alright, so we talked about argument count and argument value, and now hopefully now you have better understanding about this. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.